Organizers of this, my good friends and fellow Kenyans who are here in the United States of America, Dr. Ndege and the team that feeds our children in schools, thank you very, very much for the opportunity to be here. I am very grateful to God for the opportunity to meet with all of you tonight, and I know that in the planning of God, this day was appointed that we would get together here and share a few ideas and thoughts and compare notes on what is going on in our country and especially what's happening in education. I am accompanied by a few colleagues because we are here for work related to university education. So I am accompanied by the chairperson of the Commission for University Education, Professor Chacha Nyekoti Chacha, who's here. I would like him to stand up and many of you know Professor Chacha from his days at the Higher Education Loans Board. He also served as the Secretary of the Inter-University Council of East Africa. He served on the board of the Commission for University Education before we requested him to chair the commission now on our behalf, and I thank him for agreeing to do so, to do a good job for us. I'm also accompanied by Dr. Flora Karemi. Dr. Flora Karemi is a senior advisor to the Cabinet Secretary on Education on University Education, given to us by the Public Service Commission as a technical advisor to the Minister on issues of university education. Dr. Karemi, her latest position was as Deputy Vice Chancellor at Pan-African Christian University, and she worked before for the Commission of University Education, so she understands the sector very well. I'm also accompanied by Dr. Jane Munga. Dr. Jane Munga is a PhD in public policy. She went to school in the US. She was here for a while. She was given to us by the World Bank. She's a World Bank consultant, a technical advisor on public policy, especially policy on education now, by the bank. So she's the bank employee working for us at the ministry, seconded to us by the World Bank, supporting us. She formerly worked at the Kenya School of Government because her background is public policy. And then we requested her to join our team, and she has been supporting us. David Onyanja is a provincial administrator. He's an assistant secretary. As you know, the protocol of government as it works, ministers are assigned assistants, especially from the interior, from the Ministry of Provincial Administration, who understand the country and the terrain, so that when we move around, they're able to guide us effectively as we move and interact. So, as I said, I am very grateful for the opportunity to meet all of you tonight. And I bring a lot of greetings, first from our government, from our president. He knows that, of course he knows that I'm here because he has to give me permission to travel out of the country. That's how the government works. As a minister, I cannot leave the country without the president's express clearance. So the president knows I'm here, and he knows that this is his general area of interest because he did his studies around here. So he told me that you are going to my town, say hi to the Kenyans you meet there. And of course, he's interested in all Kenyans. It is his responsibility. We are all his job, essentially, as it were. And so people in government, those that know I am here, send their greetings, including those that I keep talking to while I'm here to sort out stuff that is happening at home. And many of them knew that I was coming to meet all of you good people tonight, so they sent their regards. I will be specific. There's a lot to say about education. I'll try to confine myself in the next about 6 to 7 minutes to what I think is important for you to know in line with what you said. The other things, I think I will respond to issues that come up, and then I'll be able to specifically address whatever issues that you may have of interest. At independence in 1963, the founding fathers of our nation decided that the 3 critical objectives that would define the new nation called Kenya could be a war against ignorance, disease, and poverty. That was the clarion call of the founding fathers of our nation. And the nation state Kenya was designed with the objective of addressing those three as a way of founding itself and creating a framework of a modern polity and a modern environment. And we began to build our nation focused more on those three things. But I must point out that the seminal of those three was the war against ignorance. Because everyone understood that if we fought ignorance very hard, we trained people, we were able to enable these people to get into gainful production and employment, therefore would fight poverty, and in the process would also fight disease, as it were. And therefore, education in our country gained a lot of attention right from independence. When you look at all of them, Sessional Paper Number 1, what was published in 1969 by the late Tom Boyer and everyone else, the focus on education was critical and central to the emerging a nation called Kenya. And we poured our resources into education. In fact, faith-based organizations like churches went ahead of the state. And if you recall from the history of our country, the late President Mzee Jomo Kenyatta created the Harambee clarion call, pulling everybody together to start building. The greatest beneficiary of the Harambee project was education, to build secondary schools, to get those that had succeeded to move forward into university and into colleges to come and teach as Harambee teachers. If you are in Professor Chacha's generation, you know about those teachers. You know, university students who volunteer during the holidays for very little pay to go back to schools in the villages and try and teach their children. The focus was creating an educated population as a way of fighting poverty, as a way of fighting disease. And over the years, I believe you know this, that we're one of the very few countries in sub-Saharan Africa that invest heavily in education. We're the 7th funder of education the world over. As a proportion of our GDP, we are the 7th. In fact, we were having a debate the other day with my colleagues, friends from the African Development Bank and the World Bank, whether we are 7th or 6th, because we have kept increasing resources and amount of money that we are putting in education, as it were. And we've driven literacy numbers very, very low. We've created a fairly educated and exposed population as you go along. And education has remained a very central focus of all the independent governments. Today, we actually consume close to about 30% or so of the national budget. And a lot of resources are poured into education. Why? For all the good reasons that we understand. Now, you can see the evidence of the efforts that we have made. We have a better educated population than our neighbors in our region. In fact, one of our points of leverage in the Eastern Africa region is that we have an educated population. And that is a factor of FDI, foreign direct investment that's coming into our country, because companies would rather invest in Kenya because they will find an educated population from which to draw their manpower. And this has remained a point of leverage over the years, as it were. Challenge was in the 80s, with all those good plans that we had, we missed some steps in the 80s, particularly, and in the 90s, in terms of how we structure, focus, and target our education. We missed some steps. For example, we closed down all middle-level colleges and created universities. We forgot to move with the dynamism of time. The education has got to be responsive to the development of the world, as it were. That mismatch created a situation that we are trying to deal with right now, where you have more of our students in universities in the arts and liberal sciences. Actually, to be sure, 80%, about 80% of our students in our universities are in the arts and social sciences. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. There's nothing wrong at all. It's just that we need to have that balance. We need to strike a balance. We look at Southeast Asia and countries and economies that have emerged. They have managed to strike that balance between those who train in the sciences and those who train in the art, as it were. We miss to strike that balance. And that's why you have seen in our recent focus and drive we are paying attention to STI, science, technology, and innovation, because we want to make sure that we drive the STEM numbers high, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, so that we are able to actually provide an opportunity for innovation to thrive.